Aloha everyone. So I'm going to try something new today and have my first sort of video with video comments. Here we're taking off from this beautiful strip near Lake Pillsbury and Hull Mountain in Northern California, about 4 hours north of San Francisco. And it's a beautiful spot, pretty remote. There's no cell phone reception out there, but there's a nice airstrip, dirt strip. It is marked on sectional charts, but there's very little traffic out there, even on this beautiful day. And as soon as we took off, I buzzed around some trees and got low over Lake Pillsbury. Saw some beautiful ducks right there. Tried to avoid them, of course. Did some fun foot drags. I do have my power floats on, my hook knife with me, and try to do it where it's not too deep, but sometimes it does get a little deep. And just a beautiful lake. You can see that still not much wind. We got up super early, which is not great for me because I don't like to get up early usually, but it just makes it so much safer. And then buzzing around the shore of that lake, there were a couple of people out on boats, and I just really enjoyed those foot drags. Unfortunately, here I got so deep and long into this foot drag, I actually splashed some water on my chase cam. Fortunately, eventually it dried off. And then just as I was turning to the right, I saw this really cool dam. I knew it was there because I wanted to fly along Eel River, which is the river we're going to see in a bit. And this is the first time I flew over a dam, and I just kept thinking to myself, damn, that's a cool dam. And I was buzzing around it for a while. Tried to get a little higher once I realized, oh man, there's not many spots to land out if you had a motor out. But fortunately, here you see a little bit of that dried up water in the lens flare. And once I had enough good shots and pictures of that dam, I flew along the Eel River. This is a broader area here. There are some roads, and now we're going to go through similar footage, but with the helmet cam. So again, buzzing around the trees. Try. It's fascinating. It looks so like you're going really low, but this is still on the head on the helmet cam, and it's just kind of fun when you fly so low over the lake, and then all of a sudden it opens up and you see that dam. I was still in awe. It's no Hoover Dam, but it's the first dam I ever flew over. So day was pretty good. It did get thermally towards the end, and we're going to do some low flying here, swiggling my legs in joy. It's also cool that it's just opened, and that river actually is getting pretty dry already, but that river kept being active and had some water in it because they opened the dam. So it's pretty cool. All right, of course, got to take some pictures. And then there's some folks out there that were coming out of the car that were waving and being excited to be flown over. So just buzzing them for a little bit. And now I'm going to follow this river valley. And it's actually really gorgeous. And you have to watch out when you do this low flying for power lines. And I did look ahead every time before, especially around that dam too, and make sure I didn't hit any power lines. But it was pretty safe. I love this little meadow too. Now I'm going low into the Eel River Valley. It's pretty beautiful, and I keep thinking to myself that with paramotors, you're just able to see like this beautiful little dried up riverbed. You would never see these kinds of spots on Earth if it wasn't for being in a paramotor. It's just incredible. Some of the spots here, some folks were camping and they're a little easier to get to, but others were surrounded by trees and then water on one side and valley cliffs on the other, and it's just incredible. Of course, once it's safe, it's always fun to do a little bit of some low flying. I was thinking about doing a foot drag there, but then it actually the rocks were pretty big and it does hurt even if you're just scratching them a little bit. And now once I flew along the river for a while, it was time to head back. Some other folks in the group wanted to head back to the LZ. So once I explored this river valley, maybe if I go there again, I'd fly even further along it. But for now, this was kind of the main part of it. And then we're going to gain some altitude and fly back. And eventually, it actually got pretty darn cold. This is fascinating, from being really sweaty and helping some friends launch in the beginning in the LZ, to then getting so cold I started shivering again. I didn't expect it to get this cold, but before we're gonna go all the way up to Mount Hull, we will buzz this other river valley here that actually leads into Lake Pillsbury, and that was a lot of fun too. This river valley reminded me a little bit of New Zealand, where we had just been a couple months before. That was an amazing trip with Miro and Stefan from Scout Paramotor. And the one downside of New Zealand is you're not supposed to fly unless you're launching or landing less below 500 feet. So I really enjoy the freedom that we have here in California and the US to do that. Here we're doing a little foot drag on that creek, but had to then bus straight back up to avoid this little bridge. Doing a quick small 360. It's pretty remote, so I'm not doing anything crazy here. Not going into any crazy steep angles. And yeah, then we're buzzing through these trees, which is my current favorite thing, is this proximity flying. And once we're past this river valley, then there's really no more area to there's a squeal of joy. There's no more area here to land, so I was going to fly a little bit higher. We'll see a similar view now here again from the helmet cam. That was fun too. And somehow some of the GoPro... Sorry about that. And now we have no more sound from the GoPro. So now here we're flying, and you actually, when on the helmet cam, you realize a little bit that this is a very fast wing. I'm flying a Sirocco 22 meters, so 19 projected, and it's buzzing. This is not sped up. It's just how fast it looked from the helmet cam. And I love that wing though. It's so fast, and with the 2D steering, you can get into some really steep turns and spirals fairly quickly, even though this is definitely not that steep of one. All right, now for sure, after the last bit of proximity flying, we're gonna get up to Mount Hull. I love California. There's so much variety of scenery around here. I'll hopefully upload a couple more videos. Oh, and then just before we took off to Mount Hull here, I'm saying hello to all my friends who were camping with us, several of whom were pilots. And now it's finally, like I said, going up to Mount Hull. This is the airstrip and the full Lake Pillsbury from up high. And eventually we went up to, I think it's just like 6,000 something feet. So not super high, but it's still high enough to be fairly cold. And it was also a fairly strong wind, and I'm kind of on the lee side of the mountain here, so it got a little bumpy, and you definitely want it to get higher as you get closer to the mountain and make sure you're over the top of it. All right, so once we were almost to the top, it got pretty bumpy up there, and I was getting really cold and slightly low on fuel at that point of the flight. You can see the chase cam bouncing around a little bit. There's nothing like major collapses, but it was definitely bumpy enough for not wanting to go even higher. So then I just did a couple mild wing overs and came in for a landing. Overall, just an incredible, beautiful beautiful flight. River valleys, Footdrags, the dam, beautiful lake, mountains.